doing? Henry, what are you doing? Are you still doing the spoken word? And he has really no idea what I do, but he just kind of likes me. And I've been to his house on many occasions for Monday Night Football, Thanksgiving dinner. He could not be nicer to me. His wife is fantastic. His dogs are nice. His food is good. And he's one of the nicer people I've ever met. He has a large garage, as you can expect. He has a few automobiles in there. And you look inside his garage, row after row of paintings, etchings, charcoal etching. It's like there's Skinny Kirk. There's Not So Skinny Kirk. There's T.J. Hooker. There's Priceline Shatner. There's this one and that one. I'm like, Bill, like why? And there's like, because as you can imagine, he's got fans. So I said, why? He said, Henry, they drew them for me. I can't throw them out. I used to sign them, do a photo with the person, but now I just keep them and put them on the wall. He's not like you and me. He's Canadian. Friendly. One of those, health for everyone and literacy. Whatever. Anyway. And so I had this amazing, really intense experience at Shatner's place where it was a fascinating look at the function of my body. So I was there several months ago. Monday Night Football is on. It happens in this long room that he's got with this high-definition screen as big as your head against one wall. Everyone sits watching the game because they have a genuine interest in the game. Me, not so much. I admire athletics, but me, being a spastique, I'd rather read Baudelaire and ponder. And so, sports to me, I dig it, but there's a whole lot of like, good game. That's not interesting to me. But I go because Bill invites me. Also, there's so much free food. And free food puts me into an almost orgiastic state of ecstasy. And so I sit behind the bar that goes into the screen, so I have access to the rapidly cooling and congealing tins of food that are in a row. And so I use the game clock to see how much time I have to upload thousands of useless carbohydrates down my neck. Like, fourth quarter, I've got some pasta sauce all over my face, ravioli stuck to my forehead, as I'm just eating away, and I'm having a great time. I forget who's playing. Does it matter? I'm just eating food, drinking free Perrier water, and life is fantastic. And I see Bill Shatner's assistant get up, and he gets on his phone, and he runs downstairs like someone is at the gate, a visitor. And I hear the assistant leave, and I hear him come back, because the stairs are right down there. And I hear at the bottom of the stairs the assistant talking to someone, a man, and I recognize the voice. But I don't know where I recognize it. I go, why do I know this voice? And as the voice comes closer, I go, I really recognize that voice, but I don't know where I recognize it from. And then I see the face. There's a face coming up. The room is dark and the screen is on. So there's a bit of shadow. And I recognize the forehead and the cheekbones. I'm like, I know the face, I know the voice, but why? Huh? And as the face is coming closer, Bill Shatner gets up to greet the incoming guest, brings this person into the room, and in a loud voice says, "Hey everybody, this is my friend, Rush Limbaugh!" Because as the voice was coming closer up the stairs, I felt my stomach start turning and contracting, like, what's going on? This voice is making me go into the fetal position. And when he said to me, I'm like, of course! Oh! And Shatner looks at me like he's going to walk him over to introduce him to me. And with every bit of subtlety I've got, which is none, I'm looking at Shatner like, but I don't want to meet the guy. I don't want to shake. I don't want my hands stained by that. And I believe in the First Amendment of the Constitution wholeheartedly, in that I think Rush Limbaugh should say whatever he wants for as long as he wants. I don't have to listen. And that's where the First Amendment sets me free. And so, no censorship lest I be censored next week. So long may he wave, and hopefully his fan base shrinks as more people get switched on to real information. But I'm not going to be the one to turn his channel off. I just don't dig it. And I don't dig him. I just think he's a very negative force in the universe. But again, the First Amendment, democracy's a rough room. You got to put up with people you don't dig, because freedom is, well, it's for some people it's a burden they can't seem to bear with that much grace. Anyway, Bill's looking at me. I'm like, please, no, get away from me. And Bill doesn't get it, because it's dark. And he thinks everyone's friendly to everyone, Canadian. And he's walking Rush towards me, but there's this long bar between us. So I start nuancing my body like I'm moving backwards, like my arm will never be long enough to shake that hand. And so I just kind of stand there and go, hey, Henry, this is Rush. And I look at Rush Limbaugh, who's smiling at me. He's like, and my face must have said, a whole lot. In the 1860s, when I was young, my father would teach me to be polite. He would drill me on politeness. It is ingrained into my brain pan. I would say, how do you do? To my executioner, just because I am polite. It's odd to be punk rock and polite. To be punk rock and on time. To put the punk in punctual. Anyway, and I do. I stood at attention in front of Rush Limbaugh with whatever was on my face and said, how do you do? His smile fell from his, you could hear, my face must have been, but I was like, how do you do? And my hand was at my side because it's too far, I can't. And that's when Shatner guy's like, Rush, let's get you something to eat, and just shoved him away from me. I ate the rest of my food, down my mineral water, and left. I walked out back to my car, and I went back to my utilitarian hovel. And as I'm walking in, the phone is ringing. And so I pick up the phone, and I never answer hello, because that's just too passive to me. It's like, talk on me. I was like, this is Henry. Your move. And so I said, this is Henry. And he said, Henry, this is Bill. Where are you? And he must have thought it was my cell phone. I said, Bill, I'm home. Oh, Henry, we're just a bunch of people watching football on a Monday. I said, Bill, I really can't get to Rush Limbaugh. But Henry, he's not entertaining on the radio. He's just a guy in a room full of people having a good time. I said, Bill, you've always been polite to me, and hopefully I've always been polite to you. I'm not going to be impolite under your roof. That is just never going to happen. And so if I can't be polite and friendly, I'm going to leave rather than be improper, because he's your guest. It's not my house. And the reason he was at Bill's place is because Bill interviewed him on his A&E interview show. And he said, hey, come on over. We're all friendly watching football, except for the left-wing psycho who's going to stalk out. And so I said, Bill, I dig you, man. So I thought that would be the politest way to go. And so he said, I understand. And the next time I have a right-wing radio personality over for the game, I'll give you some warning. And I went back there a few weeks later, and I walked in, and he was like, Henry, Rush Limbaugh is behind that potted plant. Only kidding! So I asked Cello, what does Nelson Mandela do with all of those paintings that come into him? And I said, does Nelson Mandela put them up on his wall? He said, no. I said, does he look at them? No. I said, what do you do with all of them? He said, let's go into another room. What do you deal with it? Something happens. Maybe he autographs them and they sign them up for charity. I don't know. But that happened. And the upshot of being in South Africa, I hope all of you get a chance to go if you've not been already, to see people change, to see things move, to actually feel it and sense it when you're on the streets, to see that people got bad information for quite a long time, and that people can recover from bad information and things can get better. It's a hell of a thing, because you can get so pessimistic in life that you'll think that nothing will ever get better. I've been on a steady kick of rugged optimism, or not optimism. Optimism has a sensibility of naivete, and I hope I do not have that anymore. I hope that's been smacked out of my mouth. But perhaps vigorous, the sense of realism.